Welcome to this evening's Tao Calligraphy Healing Field. We have a very special presentation today. I am so excited on so many different levels because this is a story that has been unfolding for many, many months. And it's a love story. I think if you got the email today, you're here because of the beautiful email that we put out. It's a love story. It's a story of selfless service, because I think we all are faced with a situation, and both of my guests have done this. They were both faced with a situation where their loved ones became incapacitated by illness, and both of them made the choice, made the decision to take care of their loved ones. And both of them are looking at me, because we're on a Zoom, both of them are looking at me like, well, what else? What are the other options? But there are many other options, and many people take those other options. Both of them very much unconditionally put their lives on hold to take care of their loved ones. That in itself is inspiring beyond words. What's happened for both of them, with the support of their communities and also the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field community, is that they've gone through this huge transformation. In our first guest's experience, she actually went through a spiritual awakening, and so did her husband. And that is actually a miracle, because we spoke very often. We spoke almost every other day. It was very often that we were on the phone. And there just wasn't room for that. But the way things unfold in the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field, you just cannot predict. The impossible becomes possible. Because in this field is the ultimate in unconditional love. It is the love of the source. It is the love of the Creator. That love creates planets, stars, galaxies, and universes every single day. And that love can open the heart of anyone who's been very hurt. So the heart has closed little by little. Life's disappointments have caused them to close their heart. But the power of the source love, it is so pure in the source field that it can reach in and really touch the heart, open the heart, create that opening that is needed. And amazing transformation can occur. So I met my first guest, Medie Barb. I met her when her father had experienced a health crisis. And Medie actually is a client of one of our I think they're called independent master teachers, Mark Saparlo. And they contacted me and said, she needs help. She needs support. So we supported her father, and he also had his own miracle story. And then about a year later, I was told that Medie's husband was struggling. So we've known each other now maybe 3 years in total. But so much has happened in those 3 years. So much has happened. And through Medie and her husband, I've had the great honor of being witness to a great love story. Because it is her love for her husband that compelled her to do what she did. I get to work with people all over the world. I get to work with people who are struggling with their own conditions, like I struggle with my own health challenges, and they struggle with their husbands and wives and children's and health challenges. And I see how people respond. And I was in awe of what Medie did. I was just in awe. And I remember saying to the other master teachers, this is a story, this is a love story, yeah, that became a very special story of an awakening and a transformation. That is, it's going to be hard for us to put it into words for you today in the time that we have. But here's what I want you to do. So all of you that are on Facebook, I want you to think of one or two people that you know who have a loved one that is sick. I'm not asking you to invite the person who's sick. I'm asking you to invite the person who's taking care of them to hear Medie's story. Because it's a story of great hope. Life doesn't always turn out the way we think. But what we get can be beyond our wildest imagination. If we are open to it. If our heart is open and we're willing to hear the messages from the source. And Medie was. Medie was willing to hear the messages, and she heard the guidance loud and clear. And then she took action. So I'm going to invite our guest, but I want you first to make sure that you text your friends, email them, tell them to register, get the link, watch the replay, because this is going to be a very special evening. You can see already I cannot contain myself. Already I'm crying. And I know the whole story. I know the beginning and the ending. But I'm so moved by what happened. Yeah, so moved. So it is my great honor for all of you, and I want you to post in the chat. If you got the email today, what inspired you to join us? Can you do that? Can you put that in the chat? What inspired you to join us? And then, of course, make sure you invite others to be with us. Because here's the thing, there's so many people right now who are struggling. You know, we're at Master Sha Dao Center in Vancouver. We were, 2 years ago, we would fill the room, 35 people. I remember a couple of times we had close to 50 people here. They were sitting on these little chairs that I was like, I don't even know how people sit on those little unfolding chairs, these little round things that I was just like, I'm not sitting on that because it doesn't look solid enough. But, whatever. And then the world kind of shut down. And for a lot of people, their life shut down. Now the world is reopening, and now they're facing grief because they put their lives on hold for 2 years. We didn't do that because we were already used to being on webcasts, and so we're pretty much just going with the flow, because we're in Master Sha's flow, and he just keeps moving forward. I'll tell you, I was in a meeting today, and all I can say is, wow, wow, wow. Because what's coming is big. It's amazing, yeah? But that's Master Sha, right? So many people are struggling. They're struggling to find their footing. They're struggling to figure out what to do with their lives. What do I do now? The world has changed. They haven't changed. And what we offer here at the Master Sha Dao Center, with the fields, with the practices, with the programs like the Dao Healing Hands programs, can give people focus and direction. It doesn't mean that they suddenly become monk-like, but it can give them tools to be able to serve in a world that's changing very rapidly, hour by hour. All you have to do is watch the news in the last week, and you know that some amazing things happened. Some not so pleasant things happened in Europe, and then some unbelievable things happened in the business world. And both have huge ramifications for the world. When we have tools like the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field, we can find our center. The love, the light, the nourishment that is in the field created by the Tao calligraphies. There's a calligraphy behind me. I'll just move out of the way. That calligraphy is a Tao calligraphy created by Dr. and Master Sha. Dr. and Master Sha is a world-renowned healer, spiritual teacher, author of over 30 books, 11 of which are New York Times bestsellers. He is the founder of Tao calligraphy, recognized in China and appointed, given a special appointment as a Tao researcher and a professor, because no one, even in China, had ever used calligraphy for healing. These calligraphies are special because Master Sha is a source channel. He connects to the source, and the source transmits through Master Sha onto the ink, onto the paper, a source field in the form of a golden light ball. That golden light ball is radiating through the calligraphy and creates a field. We're in a room, we're in a space that probably has about, I would say definitely 70 to 80 calligraphies, I think. So the power that's here is amazing. Power to heal, power to transform, power to create. So here we can find the answers that we may be looking for, no matter what the challenge is. So with that as a background, I want to bring my first guest on. So I already shared with you, I have great love and respect and admiration for her. She was the eldest, I found out yesterday. She is the eldest of 9 children born in the Philippines. So she's had her fair share of trials and tribulations. I didn't meet her. I've only known her for 3 years. But what I've known of her, she's a very special lady. So I invite Medie to come on and share a little bit of George's story. And then I'll ask you some questions about you and your transformation and George's transformation. But share with people what happened for George and how did you and I connect relative to George. Okay? Welcome.
Thank you for having me. This is an opportunity to share my love and George's love. And if I may say in a few words how George and I met. Do you have a minute? Well, I came to Canada in 1990 as a nanny, brought here by a wonderful family, which I still have communication now. And the girls were 2 months and 2 years old, now 34 and 32, like my own children. With the immigration requirements, I needed to do some volunteer works. And up to now, I don't know why I was directed to Royal Columbian Hospital. And that's where George was working as a nurse. I was allowed to help with the feeding of the patients, and I was standing, and here comes George, offered me a chair and say, "Excuse me, here, you can sit down." And without a word of a lie, when I look at him, and I said to myself, this is the man I'm going to marry with. I don't know where that came from. I was in my early 30s. He gave me his number after, a few meetings later. And I tell you, I felt like I was a teenager in love, and I was actually ashamed of myself. But I said, I don't even know whether the man has 1,001 wife or 1,001 children. It just did not occur to me. And that was the beginning of an amazing love story that I'll treasure the rest of my life. And yeah, we travel. George and I, like, we most of the time we think alike. We say something like the other person was thinking. That's how connected we are. And we travel to Greece and to the Philippines and in other parts of the world. Unfortunately, about a year or so ago, George had to go for surgery, heart surgery, and became very ill. And during the time, for a year, hospital was my second home. And at first, I was not allowed to go in and see him, but it is just the guidance of the divine that everything, it just fell into the way it should be. Mind you, I was not questioning, I was not angry, I don't know, I just went in there with an open heart and an open mind, and whatever is there for me, it just come to me. And then when the nurses realized that my presence make a huge difference, not only to the nurses, because me having a background in healthcare as a caregiver, there was a tremendous changes on George, that all of a sudden he was getting very strong, and just, it's just that everything was just in a positive energy. I go in there, I didn't even worried about how sick was George. If you see the amount of tubes that connected to him, I think people will be scared. But I don't know. It's just like I went in there that with a positive energy. I just look at everything the way, it's just like no question us. And eventually, on December 18, George Drake was removed. And before that, I requested to George that when they removed the trach, for him to be able to speak again, I said, can I make a request? He said, what? I said, can you please say the first word that you're going to say, I love you, Med. And he did. And I tell you, all the nurses were just bawling. And it was just an amazing experience. And New Year's Eve, I brought George home. And it's just unfortunately in and out. But he was driving. He became, at first he was not open into his spirituality, but as I said, that with the divine intervention and following the practices that Master Sha taught us, it helps me and George so much that I felt like I was walking up in the clouds all the time. I was never scared. I don't know, maybe because of my personality. I'm always self-sufficient, and it helps just to look at things in a positive way, and believe that whatever is there for us, it will be given. And that's and I hope that anyone that experiencing some challenges in life of losing, it doesn't have to be losing a loved one, but losing anything that we mourn, will be helped with sharing my experience. Unfortunately, August of last year, middle of August, just before my birthday. George has to go back again to the hospital, and he was just not feeling that good. And the week before he transitioned, he came to I'm there every day. The nurses said, no, you cannot come here. I said, believe me, you need me here, George need me here, and I need to be here. And when they, it says on George's board, wife will do care. Literally, they don't have to do anything but give the medication. But for me, it helps me and George, and it's amazing how my presence just makes such a huge difference. And he actually asked me on about the 20th of August. He said to me, Med, what would you like me to change? And I said, I would love you to be healthy again. And he said, yeah, I will. And he said, for me, I want to be more spiritual, and I want to be good to everyone. And amazing word from George. And mind you, we were playing the Lapis and Harmony day in, day out in the hospital, and that's it helps.
So, Medie,
try. Yes.
let me slow you down a little bit, yeah, because I want people to understand this story a little bit. Yeah. So, when I met you, what had happened was George's surgery, and if we don't need to go into details other than to say that he had heart surgery that had been postponed because suddenly everything shut down.
Yes.
Everything shut down 2 years ago. And so when you and I started working together, I remember you did a few things, and I'm going to talk about it in very broad terms without giving specifics, but that were for me, they were really very touching. So he wasn't really open to receiving services, the special services that we offer that help to transform the negative messages that are really at the root of why we have any condition. I have a spine issue. It's a message, and I keep practicing and practicing, but there's still some remnant of a message, of a negative message there. That's the core teaching in Tao science, is that everything starts with the message. Message is information in quantum physics. That message is received, that message is carried, it is the soul in the spiritual realm. That message is the soul. That message is information in the science realm. That message is received by the spiritual heart. And then the heart passes the message to the mind, consciousness. And the consciousness begins the process of manifesting the message into physical form. So it first gives direction to the energy, and the energy changes, adjusts up or down based on whatever the message is. And then that energy adjusts the matter, what we feel, see, and touch. So what I recall is that for many, many months, we were waiting to hear when George's surgery would be scheduled. And you did two things that I want people to know. One is you said to me, what services does he need?
Yes.
And I told you, and your husband said no.
Yes.
And then so the three of us were together on a call, and he said no, absolutely not. And then you contacted me and you said, no, do the services. Do the services. I mentioned this because George, his life was extended.
For sure.
And that is the gift of the services. We don't always have a miracle transformation where the condition is completely transformed. But he had a year, maybe more. And in that time, he was able to go from, I don't want to talk about spirituality. I have my own belief system. But when I would ask him to share a little bit, he didn't really want to share it.
Yeah.
To saying to you, if I could change one thing, I would be more spiritual. I have heard Master Sha share this many, many times. I've heard Master Sha say it's at the end of life that people recognize that the physical life is important, but what's more important is the spiritual life.
Yes.
And it's at the end when you're losing, when the life is coming to an end, that the realizations come. But better then than not at all. People in Master Sha's teachings, people go through a transition 49 days. That transition is different. George passed very peacefully.
Yes.
That is, Master Sha told me this because I worked with someone. Every day I worked with her for about nine or 10 months. She had stage 4 cancer. I knew nothing about cancer then. And the first question he asked me when I told him, she transitioned, he said, did she pass peacefully? And I said, I don't know. I called the family back. The family said, yes, she passed in her sleep. I called Master Sha back. And he said to me, good. That's the greatest gift that you can give a soul, is a peaceful transition.
That's exactly George.
Yeah.
Transition. He died in his sleep.
The services that you honored for him helped him to extend his life and helped him to have a peaceful transition. But I want to go on because there's more to this story. So Medie said to me, I want you to do this. It just means that I have to work more. I will get more clients. And I won't tell you, but her work is very physical. And I remember I was in tears then. I'm still in tears now. You could see me wiping my tears. She said, I will get more clients. And within a week, she had more clients. She had more work than she could handle. Yeah. Then she said to me, what else can I do? Because he doesn't believe. He doesn't have the same belief system. So he's not going to practice. He doesn't want to hear love, peace, harmony. He doesn't want to do forgiveness practice. I said, well, for a condition like his condition, very, very serious, you have to practice. The person has to practice. Sorry, crying. I said the person has to practice a minimum of 3 hours a day. And Medie said, I will do that. And she got up every day at 4 o'clock in the morning to practice for 3 hours for her husband before she went to work. Every single day. I would text her, how are you doing? She said, oh, I did my 3 hours, I did my 3 hours, I did my 3 hours. I know, you're crying, I'm crying, we're both crying. I'm crying because I'm so moved by your love for your husband. But as I've gotten to know you, what I've gotten to know is that you would do the same for anybody else.
That's for sure.
Right?
That's for sure, yes.
This is who you are.
Yeah. Every morning I wake up and the first thing I said, please guide me on how I best can serve. And then it's just my day. start with that, and the flow of energy. And it's even now, I don't know where or what happened. It seems like I I I I make a great impact on my friends and family. I don't know. Maybe I was a counselor in my previous life or something. People were just calling me for some challenges, and I don't know where did it comes that I was able to help them in a way that they said that they never, what the words, the advice that I give them is just, they said, never heard from anyone, and they come to me again and says, very, very thankful
So Medie,
for, yeah.
yeah, so yeah. um, so let me bring you back a little bit, yeah. So tell me something. I've never asked you this, and we talked a lot. We texted almost every day, yeah. And for a while there, we were talking with George every day too. So share with everybody, because you started to do 3 hours a day, and I asked you, what's happening when you're doing 3 hours a day, and you shared with me that your spiritual channels started to open.
Positive energy keep coming to me, and how can I say, and it's just, it guides me into a very, very peaceful way of doing things. That I've seen people that when they were caring for someone that is very, very ill, they just crush. And with the practice, I believe that helps me to be able to face the challenges that comes every single day. That the doctor will call me in the middle of the night, and I just, I don't even jump. I just say hello, and they pass the message that something is not quite good. But the practices, I believe the practices, the chanting, the tracing of the calligraphy helps me tremendously to ease the pain that I'm encountering every day.
Yeah, Medie, so let me just explain it a little bit. What you're talking about is exactly what Master Sha teaches. Whether it's physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, or spiritual pain. If we trace the calligraphy, what we are doing is literally opening our hearts, allowing the source love to come in. And that pain, the longer you trace, you were tracing for 3 hours, the longer you trace, the more of that source love comes in, the more of our pain is transformed. But in addition, because we're combining ancient my Master Sha calls original Tao teachings, they boost the energy in the body. They boost our foundation. They balance the 5 elements. And so we're constantly balancing the energy in the body. We're boosting our foundation, so we're not tired. You're not sleeping that much. You know, when you have to wake up at 4 in the morning, when you have to wake up at 2 in the morning, when you have to rush to the hospital to take care of something, you're not getting that, you know, whatever 7 hours of sleep that's recommended. The practices enable us to do that. They are based on the original Tao teachings. So we focus on key energy centers like the lower dantian, like the first soul house. We work with the calligraphies, which is, you know, the modern technology, because the power, Master Sha, is literally bringing the source down to earth, giving us the calligraphies. We bring in that frequency and vibration by tracing the calligraphy. It's boosting our energy, it's balancing our 5 elements, it's changing. You're tracing for George, and at the same time, you received huge benefits. Whatever negative messages you were carrying, it was transformed. And so you had the energy, you had the stamina, you had the, like you said, I was so calm, I didn't jump, the phone would ring, I would just say yes. You would go to the hospital, the nurses would say, this happened, that happened. You'd say, okay. I remember many times you'd say to me, yeah, I talked to George. I told him, you know, if you need this, tell them to call me. I will come back. So I mention this to people because I think it's a really great example. You said the divine just made it happen. The divine made it happen, but it was because you were practicing 3 hours a day.
Yes.
You were doing this for your husband, you know, between 4 and 7 a.m. You were doing this, you know, for George. You'd work, and then you'd, you know, in between work, you would be over there taking care of him. I don't really know how much you slept, not much. And so our effort, and we don't have to put forth a lot of effort, but our effort is rewarded by heaven. Heaven gives us back more than what we expect or anticipate, yeah? So let's kind of fast forward a little bit. So you were practicing for yourself and for George, and we saw some changes. So his condition made it difficult for him to sleep, and then after his surgery, of course, he was in and out of the hospital quite a bit. But here's the thing that's amazing. He survived his surgery. It was very risky. What he went through was very, very risky.
Yes, it was a very risky surgery, and he survived it. He lives a year to the date, you know. Surgery was August 29 of 2020, and he transitioned August 29 of 2021. And, you know, he was so sick. He was so sick in the beginning. He was in ICU for 5 months. And many people said that amazes them because they haven't heard of someone in ICU for 5 months. But because of the practices I was doing, and also, you know, George was receiving all this intervention, you know, from the divine due to my practices and chanting and tracing, and I believe, and that's extend George's life. He was driving, though I'm very scared to be on the passenger side, and I said to myself, Med, why are you doubting? You know, just remind myself that, you know, to be calm. And we go everywhere to Quetzalano, driving and back. this is the someone that's been in ICU for 5 months and with the trach and so many times so close to dying. But because, you know, I also said, because of my love to him, he just had this willingness that, you know, he will do everything to get better. And he was an amazing man.
Mhm. And Medie, what's interesting is also that George went from I have my own belief system to he started to do practices. He started
Yes,
to do forgiveness. Yeah, talk a little bit about that.
he was actually he said, Med, he was writing because he was unable to speak. He said that he could not hear the lapis and harmony playing, and I said it is playing, and he said no, put it up higher, because he was actually chanting with it. And then he, you know, we have this calligraphy card, the forgiveness, the Da'ai and Da Kuan Shu, and he will put it underneath his pillow. And if it's and sometimes, you know, the hospital gown has a pocket, and he have it in the hospital gown. And you know, and he said he felt at ease when it's close to him. And this from, you know, even Janice and Master Mark, you know, they were guiding us, and somehow George was just not accepting. And you know, I said how I wish that, you know, we started on a different path in the beginning, and what would be now. But I cannot, I cannot look back. I can only go look forward. And there's no point, because I will never get the answer anyway.
Well,
So
we don't know, right? We don't know
yeah.
because sometimes it takes something very dramatic to awaken us. And
And yes, that's
yeah.
true.
And so what happened for George is really a spiritual awakening. He went from I have my own belief system, but not really wanting to talk about it, to at the end, very much being in connection to the divine. Because if you know, you don't say I feel better when I have the calligraphy card if your heart isn't open and you can feel the love and the compassion that's in the card. So George transitioned, and we've kept in touch. I've been talking with you probably once or twice a month just to touch base to see how you're doing. I've been asking if you're ready to share. So yesterday you said something to me, which I was surprised, and this is why you're here. And you said, I've been thinking, yes, I'm ready. But what's happened for you? Because it's been maybe 6 months?
It's been 8 months.
8, okay.
8 months in a couple of days. I don't really know what happened. It's just, it's the guidance.
Yeah.
You know, George, since George transition, it was very difficult. Um, and you know, it's you know, I it's so difficult that I don't even know whether I'm coming or going. But this is what, you know, I continue practicing and joining Janice and Master Mark whenever I can on a Thursday. And it's it helps me a lot, plus joining the center. And then I said to myself, I lost half of my life, which is losing George,
Mm.
but I don't want to lose the other half of my life. So I have to I have to make changes. I have to face whatever challenges coming to me in a positive. You know what I do now? I just entertain the positive energy. If there is, if there is some kind of discomfort in me, I bid it goodbye. I said there's no room for you inside my body anywhere. And that's how I when you called me and I you asked me, and I said, oh my God, are we thinking the same? Because just before that I was thinking I'm ready to share my experience. And I don't know, maybe great mind things alike. And yeah, and that's how. And also because I noticed I've been helping a lot of friends and family in a way that, in they said I'm special, and I said, of course I'm special. I'm the eldest of nine. What do you expect? All of us has challenges. Some are worse than the others, but it's how you deal with it, because you already have challenges. I said, focus on the solution, not the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, Medie. Exactly. So, Medie, if I understand correctly, you're a divine healing hand soul healer.
Divine healing hands, yeah.
Okay. Can I gift you the Tao healing hands?
Oh, Master Jimena. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, uh, my heart is just pounding.
Okay, so this will be the certification. Listen to me. The program has changed, so this will be the certification program that I'm gifting you. So you have to attend. You're gonna have to attend 3 different workshops. Make sure you attend, okay, and get certified. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
I know. I've never seen anybody do what you did. My own personal experience when I was growing up, I saw a lot of my parents had very heavy karma. Far, far from what I saw you do for George is what I witnessed. So I was very moved by it. And I want to help you now that you're really ready to start to serve others.
Yes.
I want to help you. And like I said, I would love for you and Barb, which I'm going to bring up in a minute, for the 3 of us to go out and talk to groups of people, because so many people are grieving. They don't even know that they're grieving. They just know that they cannot get back into life. That's grief. It's weighing on them.
Yes.
And they just don't know, because they've put their lives on hold for 2 years because of COVID. In the US, I saw a statistic yesterday, in the US, over 60% of American adults have been infected with COVID. 1 in 3 adults transitioned. Over 25 or something, transitioned from COVID. It's a huge number. It's a huge, huge number. Yes. Over 2 billion people. Recently I was doing some work preparing for a presentation, and I looked up the function of the lungs. And because of my own experience, what I went through 2 years ago, and I suddenly realized why this is so significant. Many people have what is it called, conspiracy theories. But if they understood traditional Chinese medicine, they would understand that the function of the lungs is to distribute the food essence and the energy to all the organ systems, cells, cell units, RNA, DNA, and also to the extremities, to the fingers, to the hair. It affects, it's responsible for the water metabolism. It regulates the water metabolism. So many people, of course, the respiratory system, but in addition to it, so many people have had what's called long haul COVID, where all these different organs were affected. And they don't understand it. They're like, but it was COVID. But they don't understand the function of the lungs. So and they're depressed. Like, why can't I get better? They're grieving. So there's a lot that we can do when you're ready, and I think you're ready. So let me do this for you, because I want you to have the power to serve people. Already you have a huge heart. Already your channels are open. But I want to, what I can do for you right now is I can gift you the divine healing, the Tao healing hands for the certification program. So close your eyes, put out one hand. Like the calligraphy carries the Tao field. Your hand will carry the Tao healing hands field. And then you will activate it and offer the blessing. So put out your left or your right hand. Just put it out with your palm up. Good. So I've been given the authority by Dr. and Master Zhigang Sha as the source. He is the source channel. I am using Master Sha's channel to transmit Tao healing hands to Medie. Give her the field that she can activate to be able to offer others blessings to transform their pain. So Tao order, Tao Cheng, Tao calligraphy healing field, transmit Tao healing hands, golden light ball for healing and transforming every aspect of life, including health, relationships, finance, and the spiritual journey. Transmission begins now. And watch, Mark, for her, watch. Tao order, Tao Cheng, Tao calligraphy healing field, transmit Tao golden light ball of spiritual protection to Medie. Transmission begins now. At the most appropriate level. All of this is at the most appropriate level for her and her service. Tao order, Tao Cheng, Tao calligraphy healing field, transmit Tao golden light ball of spiritual light wall to Medie. Transmission begins now. Tao order, Tao Cheng, Tao calligraphy healing field, transmit Tao golden light ball of soul prevention and soul healing of communicable diseases. The most appropriate level, layer, and dimension to Medie. Transmission begins now. Tao order, Tao calligraphy healing field, transmit Tao golden light ball of spiritual body pendulum at the most appropriate level, layer, and dimension to Medie. Transmission begins now. All treasures join as one. And so I'm going to start with Mark, and you just hold Medie, because it's a lot for the body to integrate. You just continue to receive. Allow the spiritual protection, the spiritual light wall, the soul prevention and soul healing of communicable diseases, the spiritual pendulum, allow them to settle in. They are huge golden light balls that narrow down. They have to condense down. But right now we're in that initial, so don't move. Let them settle in. They have to just trust that this is the process. So Mark, what did you see for the golden light ball, the Tao Healing Hands Golden Light Ball for healing and transformation of every aspect of life.
Well, congratulations, Medie. You got to circle your calendar now because, you know, there's such a huge shift that has happened. You know, this is really a day to celebrate every time it comes around, to really connect to this moment. You know, this is such a huge thing, and it's, you know, I don't know how deep I want to go with this, but, you know, on our spiritual journey, a lot is transforming for you. But when this connection, this appointment is really offered, so much actually occurs on a soul, heart, mind, body level, because the transmission comes in, but it, you know, there's blockages that are getting cleared, there's alignment, there's a whole deeper purpose for you, because you are really connecting with a much bigger team, a team that has a much stronger purpose to heal, help humanity at this time. And there's also with your journey, it's also going to expand. Like if I look at you with my third eye, like you're just a glowing ball of light that you just kind of disappear. So this is really so precious. And if you connect with this and communicate and really, you know, integrate that into you, it takes a little bit of time, but you start to become what this transmission is. And I'm just so honored and grateful that, that you have received this. You know, I've been so honored and grateful to serve you and George over the past years. And I just see that this is really that next phase of your life. You said you don't want that to slip away, but now everything in your life is just transformed. So, so honored and grateful. Thank you.
Okay, beautiful. You just stay, Medie. I'm going to have Monique share her third eye. What did you see, Monique? She received a spiritual light wall, spiritual protection, spiritual prevention, and healing of communicable diseases, and the pendulum. What did those look like?
Wow. It was absolutely beautiful. Congratulations, Medie. And what I saw with my third eye, actually, she was actually reaching a different dimension. It was like her whole being, soul, heart, mind, body, was lifted to another dimension. It appeared like a temple, and people were celebrating. Actually, I got the message that George is absolutely so happy for you, that we heard that his soul, you know, he had an awakening, and now he's celebrating. And also, I saw so many souls. You already have attracted many people, but more souls will come to you. And your channel, the channel of communication with this upliftment, because it is an upliftment, your channel is so beautiful. And the connection with the source, there was a beautiful, beautiful being that was showering you, and so many saints and Buddhas showering you with this light. And the connection is so strong now, much stronger, that the words, and you see that people were impacted by your words, and now it's like a new elevated being is able to speak through you the wisdom that Master Sha is teaching. You become an embodiment of the teachings of Master Sha, and it will guide you to your next step. It's not gonna stop here. There's another layer for you to step into, and it's a much higher level of service. And it will bring you, like I can see your heart is so happy, and your soul is bowing down in the temple to all the saints that are there, because they know what is the next step. But it will be delivered and communicated to you in the proper time. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Monique. So, Medie, dear my Tao healing hands. Just repeat after me. Dear my Tao healing hands.
Dear my Tao healing hands.
Please, let me slow down. Hold on. Everybody who's joined us on the live stream, make a request for one organ, one system, one part of the body, a relationship. Maybe you have a relationship issue. Maybe you have a financial challenge. Not transform all my finances, but resolve my issue with, my Visa card. Make a request. Make a request. You don't have to share your request. And Medie, dear my Tao healing hands, please,
Dear my Tao healing hands,
please turn on.
please turn on.
Please offer everyone
Please offer everyone
who's on the live stream with us
who is on the live stream with us
and who has made a request,
and who has made their requests,
a blessing, an appropriate blessing for their request.
a blessing and appropriate blessing for their requests.
Tao Healing Hands blessings begins now.
Tao healing hands blessings begins now.
And everybody close your eyes and receive. Let me do a flow for everyone. You just continue to receive. How this is the Tao calligraphy healing field. So I am, as a master teacher, certified soul communicator, I'm able to receive messages and then share them with you. This is the Tao calligraphy healing field, Vancouver. My beloved Medie, on this day, you have joined the community of Tao Healing Hands practitioners who are serving hundreds and thousands around the world. From today going forward, you will have the ability to connect with your Tao healing hands, to serve others in your community, to be able to relieve their pain and their suffering. In a way that is not possible through other modalities. It will bring to each one source love, source light, source frequency, source vibration, the purest source messages to transform negative information, negative energy, negative matter. Let your heart guide you. Use the pendulum to be certain that you are in alignment with the soul world. When you serve with Tao healing hands, you are bringing the Tao source to others. And in this way, they have the possibility to awaken, to open their hearts, to understand that the physical life is to serve the spiritual journey and to be of the greatest service for humanity. Your service, not only to George, but to your family, to patients that you served in the hospital, to your friends, has deeply touched heaven. Connect with your Tao hands every day. Learn from the Tao hands. Let them guide you, let them teach you about the power and the significance of Tao healing hands. Ask the Tao healing hands to guide you where to take the Tao healing hands. Where do you need to be serving? Whose heart, which community needs to be opened? And with the same perseverance and the same gentleness, same gentle spirit, open their hearts to receive the blessings and to feel the hope that these blessings bring for themselves, for their loved ones, and for the world. Today, heaven is celebrating your appointment. Serve, serve, serve. How? How do you feel? What did you experience?
Oh my God. My heart is still pounding. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm lost for words. And when you gifted me the Tao hands, angels surrounded me, and then I was enclosed with white lights, and it's just so much love that came to me, and I don't know, I feel so blessed, and oh, thank you very much, Master Mera. Thank you.
Well, I'm so grateful to you. You are a great example for all of us, myself included. I learned so much, so deeply moved by your example of unconditional service. So I just wanted to help you to be able to serve all those people that are coming to you. So I'll get you registered, and then know that you have some options of when to take some classes. But the training, you could start actually this Saturday, or you can start in May. There's a weekend in May where there will be. There are 3 levels of training now. First level is for self-healing, because many people just want to heal themselves. Level 2 is for healing loved ones and others, family members. And level 3 is to be able to serve in the community. So that's the certification program for a practitioner. So that's the one you received. So I would say, I'll send you the dates. So level 1, we have training April 30th. Cynthia Hamilton will be leading that training from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will lead the level 1 training May 21st, which is a Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I will lead level 2 training on May 22nd from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then the last weekend in June, I believe, is the level 3. And you have to take all 3 of them because the training gets deeper and deeper. And it just, your understanding gets deeper and deeper as you go through all 3 classes, yeah? So they build on each other. And we will post the link for everybody because Tao, even if you have Tao Healing Hands, take the training. The training has been modified so that it's now presented. If you want to deepen and really learn how you can heal yourself, every Tao Hands practitioner should be serving themselves every day with Tao Hands. We need to be healthy and strong. Then we serve our loved ones. Then we go to the community. So there are 3 different levels, but I want to bring up Barb Friesen because Barb also has, but don't leave, Medie, stay, yeah? So Barb also has her own story of healing and transformation of deep grief. And she now is serving people as a grief coach. As a grief coach. And she's using her Tao Hands. So Barb, please share with us a little bit about your, what happened, your taking care of your sister, your commitment to take care of your sister, your commitment to take care of your brother-in-law. And then what happened for you? What happened with the grief? Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Medie, for your heart-touching story. My own story is, my sister transitioned almost 4 years ago. And while she was sick, she lived for about 4 years with a cancer diagnosis, and I looked after her, basically put my life on hold to look after her. And her husband was also sick at the same time. When she transitioned, I was very involved in his care as well. He died about a year later. And when she passed away, I was in deep grief for 2.5 years. I just couldn't get my life going. I thought I was going to be carrying grief for the rest of my life. I thought basically the best part of my life was probably over. I just didn't see a way forward. I felt somewhat disconnected from the practices that I'd learned through the center and through Master Sha. And then I was convinced by Amanda to join the wellness program, even though I said, I'm not sick, so I'm not really sure what this is going to do for me. But she convinced me to give it a go, and I did. And she also convinced me that what I had was a chronic condition, which I hadn't really thought of, like grief being a chronic condition. So long story short, I did that program religiously, faithfully every day, did practices every day. I did that practice for an hour. I did my own practices for at least an hour, probably 2 hours a day. After about 2 months, my grief lifted. I can actually remember vividly the moment my grief lifted. It was actually a physical experience of darkness leaving my body, my heart opening, my whole body filling with light, and my grief just lifted. And it has never come back. So it was very profound for me. It was like, oh, wow. Now I have to do something with this, because I can't just sit back and say, well, that's nice. Now I can get on with my life. I mean, this is huge. There's so many people that don't know how to heal grief. They don't even know that grief can be healed. They don't even know that they're grieving in some cases. So this is huge. There's so much work to be done. I have to do something. So in the last year and a half or so, that's what I've been focusing on, is creating a practice to help people with grief. Slowly but surely, dealing with my own blockages, business blockages, technology blockages, all kinds of blockages. But I keep in my mind very clearly that I have a very strong why. I know why I want to do this. I know who I want to serve. I know how to heal grief. People have to hear this, and people have to experience it in order for them to heal. And so I just keep that in mind, and I keep going step by step, inch by inch, to help as many people as I can to understand what's happening to them, and then helping them with the practices they need to do in order to heal. So that's where I am now.
So thank you, Barb. I want to come back to you. You said to me after the grief lifted, something to the effect, it's going to come back. And today I heard you say it's never come back. And then as you were exploring becoming a grief coach, you said something to me maybe 6 or 7 months ago, maybe almost a year ago. And that's when you said to me, no, my grief is healed. Nobody is talking about grief, about healing grief. They're talking about learning to live with grief. Mm-hmm. Just accepting that the loss, you have experienced a loss, and now the loss will get a little bit less painful over time, over the years. And you said to me, that's not what happened for me. My grief lifted. Yeah.
If you look at the literature about the grief, because I did some self-education about grief, most of the literature talks about, you walk with it, you learn to live with it. It never really leaves you. It'll always be with you. And I thought, no, I don't agree with that. That's not been my experience. I know that grief can be healed.
So I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to Medie. And what both of you have in common is both of you did 2 to 3 hours of practice, yeah. Tao calligraphy healing field practices. Both of you are serving. She was serving George. Now she's serving her friends and family. You're serving your clients. And both of you, she was using divine healing hands, and you're of course using Tao hands, because you were one of the people who was uplifted. That's how I met you. Was in July, I think, of 2019, when we were doing the second of 2 upliftments to help people who had divine healing hands become Tao hands practitioners. So I share this with people because I want people to really understand the practices work, but you have to make the commitment. Both Barb and Medie made the commitment. Barb just said, she does an hour with me every morning, and then she did 2 hours by herself. She asked me, because, we went back and forth, and chronic condition, you need to practice for 2 to 3 hours. She clearly heard me, and she set up her day to be able to do this. So practice is essential. Practice is the teacher. Practice is the journey. Mm-hmm. Right? You learn through practice. What did Medie say? Medie started going through this huge transformation. She started experiencing her channels opening. She started experiencing the soul road. Barb said to me, I remember we were in one of the practice sessions, said, I can see my 7 soul houses. I can see the lights, and I can feel the movement. Her spiritual channels are opening. So practice is essential in the Tao calligraphy healing field. Medie joined us for many months. In the morning she would come, after supporting George, she would join us for as much as she could for an hour and then go to work. And then Tao healing hands. If you are ready, take the training for the Tao healing hands for yourself. Get the download, use the Tao, apply the Tao healing hands every day for yourself. If you have a chronic condition, I would say this is a must. This combination of the Tao, of the daily practice in the Tao calligraphy healing field, I created the practices because other people like myself who joined the wellness program, they all said to me, but now the program's over. Now what are we going to do? We feel better. We need the practice. So I said, okay, let me give it some thought and see how we can do this. I know Master Sha's teachings very, very well. I know I was around before a lot of the top teachers. They were working. They were still working their regular, working as a teacher, working as a doctor. But I was attending all of Master Sha's events in San Francisco. So I heard all his teachings about healing. And I understand the core concepts for healing. And it's a matter of just knowing how to apply them for people who have a chronic condition. So join us for that. We practice every day at 9 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And then receive the Tao healing hands. Now you can just receive it for yourself. You can receive it for yourself and to heal yourself and to heal others. Or you can do what Medie just did, and she received it to be able to serve in the entire community. She'll be certified. She can actually become a practitioner where she's actually receiving honor fees for her service. And the people that do this are the people who have the kinds of transformations that both of you have just shared. Yeah? I want to say something else, Barb. I saw you, it looked like you wanted to add something about this. No? Okay. So you're now serving your clients with Tao hands. And I want you to share about that because when I met you, you said, my sister transitioned, my brother-in-law transitioned, I did community service, nobody came back. Divine healing hands don't work. And we kind of stayed connected, and then you were able to receive Tao hands. And then I remember you started to work with clients, and you saw. So share what you've seen with people, because you have made a huge transformation. You yourself have had a huge transformation. You were actually a Reiki master. I think you were a level 2 Reiki master. Yeah.
I actually took the third level as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So go ahead and share a little bit, if you don't mind, about
I was a
transformation.
Reiki master, and I was doing Reiki with people and finding it really useful. When I did Tao hands, I just knew and I could just feel how much more powerful it was. So I started working with people and seeing, I actually would do Tao hands with people who weren't actually grieving. They were ill and they had a chronic condition, and I was doing Tao hands with them. And I really felt how powerful it was and that people were making great progress. And what I've done since, because the focus of my work is with people who are grieving, is I always incorporate Tao hands in my sessions. I always leave time at the end of a session for Tao hands, and people love it. People ask me for it. Make sure we have time for, that thing you do with your hands, because it's so powerful. And once people have experienced a few sessions of it, then they can really, then they know for themselves how valuable it is.
Beautiful.
Better.
Yeah, beautiful. What a beautiful testimonial as well. So we've come to the end of our evening. I hope that I hope that you're as inspired as I was, as I have been, as I've gotten to know Medie and Barb, and I hope you're inspired by their service, to the community and to others, to their loved ones and to others. And that you will consider receiving Tao Healing Hands. And if you are already Tao Healing Hands, please join us. The training has changed. It's deeper. I've made my own personal commitment as the center leader that I will do the level 2 and level 3 trainings myself. and I'm working now to create some other programs to supplement your training. So we created a program last year called the Silent Servant Program, and I'm definitely going to be bringing that back this year, plus a couple of other things. I have a proposal that I'm working on for something that's been in my heart for almost 3 years, because I will figure out what it is that we need to do to help all of you have the confidence and the conviction that I have with Tao Healing Hands, because that's all you need. And when you've seen, like Barb has and like Medie, when you've seen the transformation that happens for people, then you don't want, Barb said to me one time, we just all need to be doing more Tao Hands. That's it. There's no sense in doing anything else. We just need to be doing Tao Hands, because this is the most powerful tool. And it's true. It is one of the most powerful healing technologies available. So I invite everybody, I hope the team has posted the link for you to register. If you have any questions about the program, please write to us. And I'm asking Cynthia to please post this, DaoHandsBC@drsha.com. DaoHandsBC@drsha.com. And I will respond to you with whatever questions you have regarding Tao Healing Hands. I just think that we need hundreds and thousands, tens of thousands of Tao Healing Hands practitioners to be able to help people when other things don't work, because I know for myself, every day I am grateful that I'm standing. I am grateful that I can walk. I am grateful that I can sit because of the Tao calligraphy healing field. There isn't any surgery, there isn't any medication that was available to me. It was the field. Tao Healing Hand gives you a field. You then serve others with that field. It's such a beautiful thing to see and experience. And I would love for all of you to have that experience. So it's been my great honor. Medie, anything you want to say before we close?
I just want to be thankful. Thank you again for everything. And if there's anything I can do to help others, I'm willing to do that. And as I said, there's nothing else I want to do but to serve humanity. And that's I've been blessed to have that gift. And I'm willing to talk to anyone, and I have a good ears to listen, and love, so much love to give, and I'm grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Medie. Thank you for your beautiful service. I will be calling you, and the three of us will be putting together some things to go on to the community to let others know about this amazing service that's available. Love you, everyone. Please put in the chat, what did you get from tonight? I hope you're inspired. I hope you want to go out to serve with your Tao Healing Hands. If you do, let us know. Write to us at DaoHandsBC@drsha.com, because I am determined this year I will find the time. I will make the time. I believe in this program so deeply. It has been my great honor to be with you tonight and to represent Master Sha, to represent the Master Sha Tao Center. And before we close, I will give you my Tao Healing Hands blessing, okay? So make a request. I want you to experience this. I have Tao Da Da'ai. So make a request for a physical, mental, or emotional challenge. So emotional grief, emotional anxiety, physical, back pain, shoulder pain, knee pain, mental, you cannot remember. The other day I was at my computer. I literally went to switch from one screen to the next, and I was like, Why did I just do that? And I thought, oh my gosh, Tao hands, fix my brain. So make a request. Tao, I, healing hands. Blessing. For those who have made a request, blessing begins now. Tao, healing hands. Heal and rejuvenate you. 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 How do you feel? What did you experience? Can you put it in the chat? Share in the chat. What did you experience? And take that email, DaoHandsBC at Dr. Shah, and write to us this week and let us know what miracle happened for you. What was transformed through Medie's blessing, through my blessing, through the field. Even a shift in a belief, in a mindset, that's a miracle. Because you could have that for the next million lifetimes. Prevents you from doing and being of the greatest service. So any shift, we need to celebrate. And you celebrate by letting us know and by going out to serve. Thank you for joining us this Saturday. Join us for Tao Light Massage. So this will probably be the last Saturday that we do it at 10 o'clock. We're going to move our Tao Light Massage starting in May, I think. So there's so much that's happening. Every day my head is spinning because there's so much that's happening. But it is our great honor to serve you with Tao Light Massage. It's so easy. You do nothing. You lie down. You cover yourself. You close your eyes. You visualize golden light. And the soul world does the rest. How amazing is that? Join us. Join us for Tao Healing Hands. Join us on Wednesdays and join us on Saturdays. Love you all. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.